pleasure it is, once again, to come together and do this little segment that we do from time to time called Getting to Know You. Today, we are blessed and privileged to have a conversation with Sandy and Duane Defrees. They have been around the community for a while. We're going to be talking to them a little bit about that. But I want you to know how much we appreciate you showing up and watching these Getting to Know You segments. We think they're extremely important because there's a lot of times, not only in our own churches, but there's a lot of times that people see somebody, they know they've seen them, but they're not quite sure. And then there's times, even in our local church, that you see somebody, you know their name, but you don't know anything about them. And so what this does, it gives everybody an opportunity to meet them in this fashion and kind of get to know them a little bit better. So we're just going to have a conversation, talk to Sandy, Duane, and again, I do have to give a little caveat here. We have had, all of us, we have had 2 services, and then we had a department head meeting after that. We have eaten, so if we sound a little sluggish, you'll know why. But once Sandy gets moving, believe me, it doesn't make any difference, okay? All right. Hey, Duane, Sandy, first of all, thank you for doing this. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Let me ask you, first of all, how long have you guys been in the area?
We actually moved to Glide. And we were there for 10 years, and we moved there in 2004.
Okay.
And so we've been around since then.
Okay.
And we're here because our kids, our daughter and our grandsons and our son-in-law, they were living here, and he was from this area. So that's why we started coming down here. And it took us about 3 years to find a place to buy a piece of land and put a house on it in Glide, and we really loved that. But since that time, we have moved into Roseburg.
Wow. So we're looking in the area 17 years.
17 years.
17 years that you've been here. Now, Sandy, before you guys got here, where did you live? And give me just a little history lesson, because you guys have been in the church world a long time, and you've pastored, you've been associate pastors. It's kind of like if it's been there to do, you've done it. Went to Bible college. Give me a little history about where you guys came from, how you got started, all that kind of stuff.
Go ahead, honey.
Well, how far back you want to go?
Not to the crib. Let's don't go to the cradle. Go back maybe when you guys met. How'd you guys meet?
Sunday school.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way back.
Yeah.
That's way back.
Sunday
Wow.
I was 14. She was 13.
Yeah.
We were going together a week later.
Wow.
And, so we held hands we went to Lehman Hot Springs, and we held hands the whole time. And since that time...
but we didn't kiss.
No, we didn't kiss at that time. But we were married at 18, both of us, and I was in the Navy in submarine service. And we go from there. So in September, we'll have been married 61 years.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations. Wow. So when you got out of the military, did you go right into ministry, or how did that work? What happened there?
We actually, we were in ministry per se with Jerry Cook at East Hill Church in Gresham.
Okay.
And so after about 2 years, we decided, it was 1968 when we decided to go to Los Angeles and go to Life Bible College.
Okay.
With 3 kids.
Okay.
With 3 kids. So
wow.
I was a full-time husband, full-time dad, ended up in full-time ministry while we were going to school. We were youth pastors in the Foursquare Church in La Puente, California.
Wow.
And there was a great 4 years. And we loved going to Bible college, but we came back in 1972 after I graduated onto the staff at East Hill Church in Gresham.
Wow. We've talked a lot about that church and about Jerry Cook.
Yeah.
And it was real easy to see. Matter of fact, you gave me a book, and reading the book, it was moving, very, very moving. But it was so easy to see, and talking to both of you, Jerry Cook is your mentor.
Yeah.
Right?
He was our mentor.
Tell me a little bit about Jerry Cook.
He's since passed away just a few years ago, but in 1966 is when we first met Barbara and Jerry. And we fell in love with them the moment we met them.
Wow.
They had been in ministry in the Gresham area just a very short time when we came to that church. But when we got there, we knew that's where we belonged. And the church was only about 68, 70 people. And Sandy became the...
Christian ed director.
She became...
I don't tell that though. No.
She
I
doesn't
did
want
not.
to tell about being the Christian education director. When we graduated from
Time
Bible
out for a minute. The reason that she does not want me to know that is because as soon as I find things like that out, I put them to work, okay? All right.
9 years I did that.
Okay,
Wow.
well, actually, we went to work in the church, but it wasn't until 1972, after I graduated, that we became substantially interactive with the ministry. And Sandy became the Christian education director in 1971, while we had on a little bit of a break. And when she became the Christian education director, there was about 75 people in the church. 5 years later, when she resigned, we had...
I had 90 teachers.
Oh, that's
on my
right. She had
staff.
90 teachers on her staff.
Wow.
That's how fast it grew.
Wow.
So the church was about, while we were there, about 4,500 people.
Wow.
But it reminds us of New Beginnings because they called it the garbage dump. Anybody could come. They were loved, and they were accepted.
They could be barefooted.
And they could be. It was it was the Jesus movement, and there was
Right.
really nothing like that. If you loved people and you taught Jesus,
Yep.
and you taught everything that he was, you grew.
Yeah.
And we were blessed to be a part of that time.
Wow.
It was,
Wow.
people sitting on the carpet, clear up to the, barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we had to bring them blankets to cover them.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Applegate. Down in Jacksonville, because he talks about the Jesus movement and things that was happening. So
We were part of that.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So you years go by, and you find yourself at Roseburg 17 years ago. You got planted in a particular church there. Fell in love with that pastor.
Yeah.
And I love that pastor. His name's Tim.
Yeah.
Tim
Talk to me a
Paulson.
little bit about Tim, because we love Tim.
Yeah.
Well, we can't say enough about Pastor Tim. When we went on staff, it was a year after he had become pastor. And we had gravitated from another church just because we were wanting to be a part of the community itself. But it was outside of Roseburg. So when we met Tim, the first time we were together, when we were walking out the door after meeting together, I just said to him in passing, I hope that one day I might be able to be a part of your staff. Well, it wasn't very long, about 6 months later, and we were a part of the staff.
Yeah.
So it was a Foursquare church. We loved being with Pastor Tim and his wife, Shelley, and their kids. And their kids have all grown up and having babies now. So Tim's not here, but he's in Medford. But we enjoyed pastoring with him. We were 9 years on his staff.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, we came here.
Wow. So one of the things that we have you do here, and I know it's a big part of your life. Number one, I know both of you well enough to know that mentoring young people is huge to you.
Yeah.
The heart that you guys have, the compassion that you have, the graciousness that you have to touch these lives is actually incredible to me. But another thing I want us to talk a little bit about is life groups.
Yeah.
We have them here, you had them there. It has been a very big part of your ministry
In our lives.
and your lives.
In our lives.
Tell me why, and tell them why should they become a part of a life group. Why is a life group so important?
Go ahead, honey. I got to think for a second because I take off of what she says because it's so good.
And I just open my mouth and think when I speak. I think, let's see, who am I like?
And I open my mouth, I insert my foot.
No, because I believe it's so important together in a home of somebody who has a gift of hospitality. That's a very
Right.
important thing.
Right.
You know, people need to be people that say, come in and feel honored and welcomed. And that's what happens at life groups. People can come into a life group no matter where they come from, what arena they're leaving, and feel loved, accepted. And I believe that happens in a home. I think it's so important to have that, and that you break bread together, just like the early church did. You eat together, you laugh together, you learn of each other's needs, so you care about those people, and you learn of them, and you learn what makes them tick. You learn what their heart is. You learn about their families. And so you become entwined in a relationship with them, and that way you care about them. Otherwise, you don't care about people if
Right,
you don't get
right.
where they are.
Right. Do you think there's a portion of it that is kind of accountability also?
I believe so. When we are at church, in the church gathered, it's so easy to become just a spectator and sit back and just go in the door and then go back out the door. People that choose to go to a life group are really interested in becoming a real vital part of ministry and a family.
I like that.
And
Plugged in.
when we
That's
become
good.
a part
That's
of
good.
that, that's how we become entwined. All of our life groups today, though we're taking a break for the summer for some of them, there's one still going to be active, but some are needing to take a break and just take a month or so off.
Yeah.
But that is exactly what happens. We break bread together. We have people, share with one another, and we always have an interactive teaching that has to do with what you've brought to the congregation, and we then use that as the where we hitchhike off of that and talk about it.
One of the things I thought was exciting was life groups. There's so many things that happen at a life group, but one of them that I got real excited about was this last one at Virgil and Heather's house.
Yeah.
And Virgil had got a hold of me several months ago and said, Pastor, I want to be baptized.
Yeah.
And so we took that life group. That was just so cool.
Yeah, it was
We took
exciting.
that
It was
life
so
group
good.
and we went to Platte Eye and we baptized him at Platte Eye.
Yes,
But that
yes.
was the camaraderie, the family get together of a life group.
Yeah.
So it was just so cool.
But
It
you
was
had
so
talked
cool.
about celebrating people. That celebrated him, too.
Yes.
That
Yes.
celebrated both Heather and Virgil. And I just felt so excited and to be a part of that and to see them enjoying having all of us there celebrating
Yes,
with them.
yes.
And having you guys baptize them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a delight. Well, that couldn't have happened without Life Group for
Yeah.
Virgil.
No, you're right. No, you're exactly right.
That couldn't have happened.
Now, I am going to add this. We did it at Platte Eye, and there are crawdads at Platte Eye. And I literally felt crawdads nipping on my ankles. You talk about the real deal. We were doing it, buddy. All right. So listen. We're gonna bring this to a conclusion, but I am not going to bring it to a conclusion until I ask this question, because there are people out there by the hundreds and thousands that know you. They do not attend church, period, or they don't attend a church at New Beginnings, or they've thought about going to church, but they just haven't made that step yet. But they believe in you too. So I'm going to ask you a question. Number one, first question is, how did you come to New Beginnings? And why do you stay? How did you come to New Beginnings?
You go first.
And why do you stay? Because people want to know,
Yeah.
why do people continue to go to New Beginnings?
Why does anybody continue to go to New Beginnings? We are growing so fast. The body is growing. It's because of the relationships they're establishing. What you preach and how you preach is a drawing card for anybody. That's part of why we came here, because we were anxious and delighting in a true Pentecostal experience.
Wow.
And Pentecostal preaching.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we needed, and that's what we were missing.
Yeah.
And we love to be here, and we love to be in ministry with you, alongside you, and we love you, and I think that that is easy to say.
Wow. Wow. Very kind.
The
kind.
very first time that we came, we were, making a decision of finding a fellowship that we wanted to lock into again because of Pastor Tim resigning, and that was, personalities make a big difference.
Sure.
Of the pastors, and we visited several other congregations and would find the good things about them, but we came to New Beginnings, and we were so refreshed. It was a refreshing. It was the refreshment of the Holy Spirit. It was the worship. We loved the worship, and I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was Lisa or what, I believe so much happens in the worship time.
Yeah.
I know that I had a meeting with some of my ladies just this last week, and I was talking about worship being a time when people can be healed, they can feel the presence of the Lord in their life, they can be filled with the Holy Spirit and speak in tongues. How'd you say that?
Absolutely.
And have an intimate relationship, and we felt that the very first time we came, and we felt welcomed, we felt loved.
Wow.
I would like
Felt
to say,
welcome.
I would like to say something now that is my heart, because when we walked in the door, we had never been in this building before, so we were sighting things, we were looking around, but we got into the congregation. I can remember right where I was sitting when we were worshiping and while the service was going on. One of the things, and this is just me, okay, but one of the things that I enjoy is how that you connect with people, especially those you don't know. Because on that first Sunday, you came up alongside me and you put your arm around me and wanted to discover who I was. So I told you, at the risk of not knowing what was going to happen afterwards, you were so kind and you were so welcoming. I believe that is one of the most important ministries of a pastor. When you're in the congregation and you just sit in the congregation and then you just get up and preach, you don't do that. You're always connecting with people. I enjoyed that. I needed that. And it was one of the factors for me in coming to New Beginnings. Thank you.
Wow.
And when our children and our grandchildren come, they feel the same thing. They know why we plugged in to this church. They know why, because they said that, So I want to say, because you said this, and I wrote it down in your sermon, and it was from the word, I hear the abundance of the sound of rain.
Yeah.
And that's one reason we stay here, because we hear the abundance of the sound of rain.
Hallelujah.
And we tell everybody who knows us, come and visit because you'll stay.
Wow. You made a comment a little bit ago. Sandy may have said it, but I heard it out of your heart too, and that is that you talked about a refreshing.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you two, from Lisa and I, you have been refreshing to us. You have made us better. You have created in us a desire to become better pastors. So I think that any kind of relationship that is worth its salt goes both directions.
Yeah.
You have made us better. And thank you
Thank you.
for giving us an opportunity. Thank you for plugging in. And thank you for making a difference in so many people's lives here at this place that we call New Beginnings. And to all of you, I want you to know we love you. We care about you. Duane and Sandy is one of many that have stole our hearts, and a relationship that is very precious to us. And we want this place called New Beginnings to give you a brand new beginning in your life. No matter who you are, where you come from, how many times you got knocked down, or how many times you knocked yourself down, we want you to know this is a place to come home to. Where the judging, we're going to leave it to God, and the loving, He's going to leave to us. We want to make a difference in your lives. So thank you again for showing up to, again, this little segment that we like to call Getting to Know You. And I got a feeling after today, we know a little bit more about Duane and Sandy. And if you don't know them, it would do a good thing for you in your heart to get to know them. They are special, and they are Lisa and mine friends. We love you. God bless you. Once again, thank you for showing up. Have a great